Hello and welcome to Raven's Arcana. I am Raven. Thank you for being here. And we're going to perform a reading about being different in a world full of normalcy. So my wife and I were having a conversation last night and decided that'd be a good topic for a reading. And I'd really love to see where the reading leads us on that. And I think a lot of us feel that way, that we're just a little or a whole lot different than most people, and it's difficult to feel like you fit in, right? Sometimes. All right, so let's get in here and see what we're working with. So we have the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles, right? You're trying to find balance. You're trying to find duality. And really speaking to the question here, you know, what is normalcy? What is oddity or weirdness or things that are a little bit different? And, with that infinity sign wrapped around there, this is an infinite struggle, right? So we can be different. I love being different. I love being odd. I love being called weird. But it is difficult sometimes for us to really mentally and emotionally wrap our heads around certain situations, sometimes at work, sometimes with new friends, sometimes with family, right? Don't get to choose our family. And just being a little bit different, a little rough around the edges, or a whole lot different is a struggle, right? Sometimes people don't understand what you're trying to tell them. They don't understand the place you're coming from. They don't understand your perception, your view. And it can go down into like your beliefs, that you believe completely different things than your family and how you were raised. And you look at things with friends, with colleagues, completely differently than most people actually understand or perceive, those topics to be. And it is difficult, right? It could be difficult to succeed. It could be difficult to get your point across, to communicate. People can be very dismissive, right? If you're not inside that box, you're coloring inside the lines, and it's not the norm, But what is normal, right? I love that card came up first. And then we have the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups in this instance is going to signify you finding people, right? So this is communication, collaboration, celebration. And I think this is a small group of people. Typically when we are younger, in grade school, in high school, and college, we have a whole lot of friends, right? Or even a whole lot of acquaintances, people we know that we can call, we can hang out with, we can have conversations with. But as we get older, regardless of how, normal or odd or, on that spectrum of perception of your being, where you fit there, I think we all really downsize our group, our little tribe. And, but I think it's more difficult for us, right? For the weirdos, for the freaks, for those that color outside the lines all the time. And this is signifying, connecting on an emotional level, like that spiritual level, right? Then we talk about soul tribes, soulmates. And this is pointing back. We've had a couple readings about that, to your small group, right? That, was The Hangover, were the three best friends that anyone can have. I don't know why that came into my head. But yeah, typically you only have one or two really close people in your life. And so that can be a struggle, right? If you're having issues, if you're having trouble with those people, who do you talk to outside of that? So whittling down or only being able to connect with a handful of people does make it a little bit more difficult, to navigate through events in your life. and goes back to kind of the struggle, the juggle, if you will. And we follow that Three of Cups with the Four of Cups, which is interesting because I'm going to move these over where they're a little bit more centered here. Have my OCD take over, my weirdness. You know, the Four of Cups, this is kind of an odd depiction because typically the figure in the Four of Cups is focusing on things in front of him and not the cup. This is actually looking at the cup. And it looking for, even though you might be seen as volatile or unstable, you know, 4 is a stability number. And I think this is almost solitude. Like you almost find stability in being by yourself, right? So here's, if this represents your small clan, your group, your tribe, your close, really group, right? The Three of Cups here. The Three of Cups is actually in front of you. You're not paying attention to them. You're looking at your cup. You're looking at what makes, you know, you happy, what brings you joy, what fulfills you, what your desires are. And I think we feel like that a lot, you know, and I think the people that stick around, represented by those Three of Cups, understand that about us. Understand that maybe we do things a little bit differently. Maybe we don't communicate as well as other people in their life, or what's expected if we're talking about normal and odd. And they still stick around. But a lot of times we can get into that really almost, we self-sequester, right? So we take ourselves and our heads in the clouds, see the cups in the clouds, which means our emotions can be a little bit different. We feel certain ways about situations and about people because we're coming at it from a different angle, right? Because our type of thinking is way outside the box. You know, when we talk about color outside the lines, I mean, we have just a paintbrush and paint spilled everywhere, and it's, I don't know. But I think this signifies a lot of times us wanting to be alone, wanting to be by ourselves, wanting to work on things, projects, ideas, you know, by ourselves, even though, you know, we have other people around us. We're one-man wolf pack. If we're gonna reference The Hangover again. I don't know why that movie's in my head. But I think our friends stick around, right? We have those people that hang out, regardless of what our actions and our thoughts and how we behave, how those tend to play out. You know, they still stick around. And we have the Knight of Cups. And so I think the Knight of Cups is that we are highly emotional, or you are highly emotional. I'm going to go ahead and label myself as a little bit odd, a little bit weird, a little bit different. And we tend to be empaths. And I think the Knight of Cups, what this is telling us in this instance for this reading, is that emotion is, you know, that movement of emotion. So the Knights are all about motion, movement, that we feel other people's energy. We absorb it. And that also makes it difficult to be around, you know, larger groups, to really trust other people. I think we're highly emotional beings, for sure. But the more people come with their, you know, to find comfort, to find compassion, you know, look for someone to console them when they're sad, depressed, you know, that energy, angry, all of that energy that's emotive from that person, I think you take on. I know I do. You know, it can alter your whole day when your intentions are good. When someone comes to you and wants to unload something that's, you know, a burden to them emotionally, you kind of take that on and it's hard for you to shed that. So being, you know, an empath, enjoying kind of sitting by yourself and toiling over things, working through your emotions, probably happier by yourself, even though you have a few people you can, I was going to say tolerate. I mean, you love them, right? But it's a struggle. It's a juggle. The juggle's the struggle. And we'll go over here. And so the Four of Wands on the left over here, that is, you know, the home that is celebrating a union. And I think that with the Four of Wands, and if you're looking at the crows, just kind of balancing each other out, I think that people that are a little bit different, odd, fly their freak flag, the weirdos, I think this speaks to loyalty. They are more loyal. So I think they are able, when they do find people that they love, that they care about, that they understand and understand them as well, then it is a complete commitment. Whether it be romantic, whether it be friends, you know, you are committed, you are loyal. And that stability, like no matter what, like if you're part of the team, you're part of the clan, part of the tribe, I got you no matter what. I'm fully invested. As soon as I remove my guard, as soon as we're on that level and we can go 4 years without talking, and I'm still going to be there for you. So I think this speaks to loyalty, that stability, because, you know, when you are so different and it's hard for you to understand kind of the world and how people interact in it, I think you understand how the world works, that big picture, more than other people. I think when we talk about not understanding the world, it's like society, how society reacts and acts, how they form these opinions. You know, a lot of it doesn't make sense. When you find people, what I'm trying to say, where it fits and it makes sense, you're loyal forever. Let's go beneath here. Strength. Yeah, so when we talk about, and there's the infinity sign again on the strength card. And there's the flowers that are up here. Now they're a little bit different because they're below the surface, right? They don't have all the bright lights on them. Jokes. But, you know, with that strength card and the infinity, I think that speaks to you have more passion. You are stronger mentally, emotionally. I was going to say physically, maybe, you know, spiritually. I think you, as the weirdo, as maybe feeling like an outcast, as the odd person, because you do not fit, because you have to formulate kind of plans, probably since you were younger, to fake fitting in, so people perceive that you are normal. And then, you know, it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of courage and bravery to do that. Bravery. God, I need more coffee. You know, people always say, just be yourself. You know, just say what you really feel. Say what you really think. Like, yeah, no, I can't do that. Like, I wouldn't, you all would not like me. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of mental effort, fortitude, and strength to project normalcy when, you know, when you're outside of that group of friends, the people that really understand you, to exist in this world. And we have the Four of Pentacles underneath the Two of Pentacles. More stability here. Yeah, so it takes a lot to, I think it takes a lot to ground yourself. I know it takes a lot to ground myself. You know, when we talk about over here in the Four of Cups, head in the clouds, you know, some might call you spacey. Some might call you, you know, not focused. You're actually focused on things that matter, right? I think a lot of things that that we partake in are trivial. A lot of conversations that we have are, you know, hey, how's the weather? Hey, how was your weekend? Hey, how you doing? Those are trivial conversations. It doesn't matter. I'm just being nice, right? And I think a lot of the things we do don't really matter. They matter in day to day. I mean, you have to pay your bills. You got to pay your electric bill, your cell phone bill, put gas in your car, and eat, and you know, make sure you don't have holes and oil stains and burn marks on your clothes, right? But it takes a lot to remain grounded. To when we talk about like as above, so below, the big picture versus the individual, you know, the spiritual versus the material here. That's what I'm talking about. Where having your head in the clouds, if you're intelligent and you know what's going on, is probably where you go when you don't have that routine reel you in, when you're not at work, when you're not performing little tasks that are required for daily life. So it is more difficult. It requires more strength for you to ground yourself and have maybe conversations with people. And it might be hard to ground yourself in those daily routines, like at work. You know, a lot of times the pentacles will symbolize work. So it's difficult to remain grounded when you're going through those routines, those daily tasks, because you're thinking about other things. You're thinking about things that, you know, philosophical, psychological. Why would somebody even say that? And you stick on it for a long time. You know, what is this really made of? Like, how does this interact? Like, how does the universe work, right? You're thinking about big picture things and trying to figure out what life and the universe and the planet and how we're all interconnected, and somebody wants you to, you know, fill out your TPS report. So that's what this is talking about. Having the strength to keep your head out of the clouds when it's necessary, you know, so you don't get fired, so you can complete tasks to gain rewards to buy your freedom. So I think that's what that card's about. It takes all the effort, right? It takes, gotta have it on the brain. I'm gonna have my strength pendant on, or this and that, and I gotta stay grounded. I gotta stay focused. I gotta reel it in and seem normal. But as the Magician card comes up, the people, and I talk about spectrum a lot, the people that exist and are able to experience every single aspect of the spectrum, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, right? You push yourself. You understand things. You have all the tools. And that's what's hilarious to me, because a lot of times people that are odd, that are perceived to be weird, that are different, that don't toe the line, when they're younger, they're picked on. You know, oh, you're stupid, you're different, you get bullied, you know, you're the outcast, you're picked last. And as you get older, hopefully that eases away a little bit, or you learn how to project normalcy. You learn how to fake it, right? I think that's probably more of what we're talking about here. You learn how to navigate everything and present yourself in a way where, oh, yeah, they're a great fit. You know, they always are themselves. You know, they're so authentic. Like if you only knew, right? But the magician, typically you, as the outcast, as the weirdo, as someone that's different. Once again, the colors out paints outside the lines crazy. There's no lines on anything you do that you're actually really passionate about. You have all the tools. So you came here to experience the world. You came back, or maybe you're here for the first time, but you're here and you have all the talent. You have all the gifts. You have all the abilities. And that's why you're different, because most people do not. Now, everyone has their own gifts, their own talents, their own abilities. But if you're looking at the world from a different angle, if you're thinking outside the box, if you're coming and taking action in different ways and reinventing ways to just perceive the world and participate in every single activity and try to understand. Your goal is not, I'm going to get my paycheck and go get a 12-pack of beer or a box of wine, a bottle of wine, or a bottle of whiskey. And maybe you do, I like to take the edge off as much as anybody else does. But that's not your goal. Your goal, meaning buying your freedom, is to pay for all your crap that is required, and then think about things that are bigger than you. Think about how, once again, the universe works and how relationships work and how we feed off each other and what does it mean to be an empath and who has that ability. Are we all psychic? Are we all intuitive? You came back to change the world, and it makes people nervous, right? It would make people highly nervous if you told them everything you know, what you think, what you know about them, how you could probably psychoanalyze them in 5 seconds and tell them how to fix what's wrong with them, even if you don't have a deep conversation about it. But yeah, I went off on a tangent here. But yeah, and you, with this being under your 3 of Cups, this is going to signify you surround people with similar gifts that you have. Now, you might complement each other, and hopefully you do. You have different gifts, but they're on the same level, right? You think the same way. You're able to have deep conversations about everything. We have the 2 of Wands underneath the 4 of Cups. And we talked about that 4 of Cups being you okay with being in solitude, being by yourself, having your head in the clouds, and not always hanging out with other people, not always being a part of society when you're not required to be. But that soul clan, that soul tribe, that small group that you really dig each other, that you're there forever for each other, sticks around. When we're talking about the 2 of Wands, we talked about that union over here and how they seem to complete each other. Absolutely over here as 2, and that's duality. And you have what looks like the moon. It's a little dark there. But you have the moon and you have 2 wands, you have the 2 crows, right? So I think that when we talk about mentally and emotionally, obviously there's other aspects, but those are the 2 big ones. I think that when we're talking about connecting with other people and the duality of being in solitude, solitude, I think that's what this card is talking about. Having your head in the clouds, figuring out things so you can bring it to the people that you care about or would receive it, right? And you also can collaborate with them and think about things, create new ideas, new ways of perceiving the world, looking at things that you can take and work on yourself with. So I think that's what this card is talking about. And this is also a card, one of duality, but it's also a card of having that vision, right? So being different, being an outcast, being a weirdo, a freak, you're always going to be someone that has a different outlook, a different vision, coming at something from a different angle. You have all the tools to do this, right? And I think you have moments where you can change the world. And when we say change the world, you change it little by little, in little interactions, little things you say. So you're planting seeds along the way. And I think you, even though you enjoy your own time with yourself, you enjoy that time with those other people. And this could possibly be that you can create something, having a vision with your soul tribe, with your soul group, working with a best friend. And this might signify changing something. Having that vision, I think that's the world, not the moon. But either way, illumination, that you might be able to change something, take action on something with your little soul tribe. We talk about balancing work and pleasure, personal life, professional life. This could signify, having your weirdos unite, right? And really doing something. It doesn't have to be for money, right? It's just collaborating on something that really opens other people's eyes up to what else is out there besides, eat, work, sleep. I need to buy stuff, things like that. You can spread, you're able to give others, to hand them, if you know the traditional version of this card, it's a gentleman with the world in his hands looking out, having that vision, knowing that there's something different that you can do. You can create something. And it speaks to that, but it also speaks to you waking up other weirdos. You breaking through the shell that people have projected, those barriers. And a lot of people put up barriers to hide their weirdness, to hide that they're different. Once again, like I said, we learned how to fake it and put up this facade so we seem to be normal. But maybe you are able to create something and able to share your vision, share your information with other people, and wake them up. Not wake them up meaning make them realize it's okay to be like you, I should say. And we have the Tower with a burn mark on the edge, if you can see that, which is hilarious. I don't even know how that happened, but I think it's amazing that it's on the Tower and that card has a burn mark on the corner. That was for me. Has nothing to do with this reading, although I think it's really cool. So, yeah, when we talk about needing to have that balance, needing to stay grounded, only really having a handful of people in our lives, we really trust them. They're our forever family, friends, clan. We like being by ourselves, but also with other people. And even if we take that trip into the clouds, take that journey away, those people are going to still be there for us. It takes bravery, it takes strength to remain balanced, to remain grounded. We have all the tools to do that. We want to create and share our vision with other people that are like us, but we're empathetic. And by empathetic, we show more than empathy. If you're an empath, you're absorbing that person's energy. So taking a lot on. It requires a lot of strength and bravery and courage and emotional and mental fortitude to be on this path. And the Tower, I don't think, is you or us. right? The tower is not us, our lives becoming upended. The tower is you wanting to change the world. We talked about waking people up and making people realize to really be their true authentic selves is not going to be normal. What is normal, like I asked before? It's tearing down the structure, tearing down those rules, those perceptions of what normal is, of what is expected of you. That is your ultimate goal. That's my ultimate goal. You know, you hear all the time these conversations about everyone, you know, we accept everyone for who they... No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't accept everyone for who they are. For their majestic weirdness, their oddities, their insecurities, everything that we're supposed to hide and keep under wraps and not show the world. That's all the magic stuff about us. So let's really tear down the structures. Like, who cares how I act, what I look like, what I think, what I believe? You know, as long as you're not hurting other people. Yeah. I think your whole goal is wanting to tear the tower down. The tower represents, in this case, all the rules, all the perceptions. And you know, that juggling that we talked about in the beginning of this reading is you probably being more involved, working for a company, a corporation, having to do things and participate, work for, work with, communicate with people that if they knew who you really were, if you knew what you were all about, what you thought, what you believed, what you do on your own time, what you think about, and they couldn't stand you. So that's where the juggling comes in. You are pretending like you were a part of their clan, but you're not. And that's the tower you want to take down. Not that you want to take that person down or those people down. You want to take the whole structure down where you don't have to be anything but yourself. So fly your freak flags. Weirdos unite. I'm aware you have to continue to navigate through some things, as I do. You have all the tools. Be strong. Stay grounded. Keep your friends close. Hope you find a few other ones that you can put into your forever clan. Be careful about taking on people's energy, which feeds into grounding. Share information with people. And, yeah, let's take down the tower. All right, I know this went a little bit long. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you hanging out. If you stuck around till the end, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you enjoy the content and are not subscribed, you can subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want alerts when I release new material. And yeah, take care of yourself. Stay weird and have an awesome day.